slate it up. Do you want to explain what a slate is to the lay people, to the non-actors? What is a slate?
A slate is something that you either put at the tail end of your audition or at the beginning of your audition, and it's mostly just an introduction for the producers, the director, the writers, all the people that are casting you in either a movie, TV show, or whatever. So that's it's just a brief introduction to be like, hi, I did this work. My name is Brandon Knox. Usually it includes your height. So now it includes your location and the location for the foreseeable future, just because of COVID and location limitations and stuff like that. But that is a basic rundown of what a slate actually is. And what I've always been intrigued by since I started at Laughing Vikings has been your slates, Lars. I think they are some of the most brilliant things I have ever seen. Wow. Like I think it's very fun what you've done with slates. I personally think I always look forward to doing tapes with you because I'm excited to see what your slate's going to be.
Just for the slate, yeah. That's actually my goal, to be eventually just cast off slates where I only just submit the slate and not even in the audition, or maybe someone casts me in a movie that's just like the Slatist. The Slater.
The Slater?
Just me. It's just like a professional Slater. Like nobody says that guy's name, height, city, and agency better than that guy.
Yeah, sometimes they don't say it quite like Lars Classington, let me tell you.
That was a great explanation too. Sometimes you got to show hands, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you might have to tell a little fun fact if they want to get a feel for you. So it's basically you talking right to production and casting. Sometimes it's full body, where you'll be back here, profiles. You have to do all kinds of wacky stuff depending on the production. So yes, you like my slates. What do you like about them?
They're very fun. You always incorporate something that you did in the tape in your slate, and it's always just sort of a nod to be like, I'm a fun person to work with, so give me a chance. And I always think that's wonderful to see.
I wasn't always like that as well. And a lot of people listening and or watching right now, you might, like a lot of actors, the second you hear Slater, are like, oh, like so awkward, because it is kind of awkward and it's different. Like you're you, but you might have just finished doing the scene as well. Sometimes in a live audition, sometimes the first thing you do is you walk into the room, say hello to the live people in the room, and then in front of the camera, you'd slate down the barrel, looking right down the camera, and then you go into character, or you do it in the reverse option. But I used to be like, sometimes it's like that Will Ferrell Talladega Nights thing where it's like I don't know what to do with my hands, and you see people like
pose,
like what pose and things, and I think that's just people being a little too what do you call it, like self-conscious. Self-conscious. But I used to be like that. I used to be really awkward too, or just like how to look or how to all that stuff, whether or not to do
so it. Before we get into that topic, I want to find out more about that, but can we show the clip first before we get into that?
He's like, enough with the explanation and just show
I want to see it again. I watched it before. I've loved it.
All right, so we loaded. So what you're about to see is just several, I don't know, maybe half a dozen slates from maybe in the last 3 months, some of my auditions. And a handful of these, I actually booked it too. So you'll be like, oh shit, it actually works. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with it, as you'll see. So here.
Oh, hey, Lars Classington, 6'2", Toronto. Hi, Lars Classington, 6'3", Toronto. Get out of here. Hi, Lars Classington, 6'3", Toronto. Hey, I said get the fuck out of here, asshole. Hi, Lars Classington, 6'3", Toronto. Oh, hey, Lars Classington, 6'3", Toronto. Hi, Lars Classington. Hi, Lars Classington, 6'3", Toronto. Meow. Hi, I'm Lars Classington, 6'3", Toronto. Hey everyone, Lars Classington, 6'3", Toronto. These are my hands, and this is my flute.
Well done. Well done. Especially that last one. The last one with the flute is just it's priceless for me. Although
Yeah.
I think my favorite is the Scarface.
The with the shirt.
Yeah, with the bear shirt with
Yeah,
Scarface.
yeah,
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 just like the pose. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. The
So,
pose. Yeah, I started just recently, and it's come from a few. It comes from the comedian background in me. I think there's something to say, like if you can get a little laugh in, and you
mhm.
want to signal to production. Yeah, I'm a fun guy. I like goofing around. Like obviously, I'm professional, but I'm gonna get laughs, but not just for laugh's sake. Usually, all of those things that I do at the end, there's some hint or callback to something in the scene, and or maybe like the one line where I was yelling, "Get the fuck out of here." That was a line from the audition. So I sort of treat it as a button slash callback comedically, just a little wink wink to production, but
Mhm.
also one last look to get an extra read. Like maybe my first two reads on that line wasn't exactly what they were looking for, but then I say something in the slate and they're like, "Ooh, fuck, I like that."
Yeah.
This guy knows how to slate. Uh, yeah, no, they're really
It's
fun.
great. You're so right about it being an extra button at the end. Like it makes me as like an audience member like feel uplifted and be like, oh, this guy's a really cool person to be around. And like that's who I want to work with. I want to work with the cool person that's fun to be around.
Right.
Like you don't want to be stuck with somebody for like 10 days if they're just gonna be a miserable Nancy. I don't know.
Right, or very awkward and nervous and any of that. And
Mhm.
you don't want those vibes. You want good vibes only, right?
Yeah.
That's the key. You want good vibes only. And I should give a shout out to Todoroff Studios, Tom Todoroff. My background is comedy, so that risk taking and that goofiness has always been there. But being in his class recently has sort of raised my level of risk taking and confidence, and just kind of having that. It's a little bit of a fuck it attitude, but for me, it's not a fuck it in like
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
not
that
like a fuck you. It's
it's not
just
that I
like
don't
a
care or
yeah.
anything. It's that it's actually that I do care, and I want to be a little different. I see it as a pattern interrupt too. So if like the reality for a casting assistant, if you're looking at first auditions, they might be having to look at like 500 of these. And do they even watch them all? Maybe not all the time, but they're watching these one after the other, after the other, after the other. So I just feel as a human being to make them laugh. And now the reality is also I know a lot of them. So depending
Mhm.
on the casting director, like it's kind of me directly saying to the casting director, hey, wink, wink, like remember, like you know me, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like it's
And well,
Larsy,
because even most commercials start with the slate.
right?
So like it is your introduction into the audition. So it's saying, this is what I do. This is who I am. I'm a great, fun, bright person. And like again, that's who we want to work with. That's the person that's gonna get hired.
Yeah, slate it up,
Slate it up.
slate it up.
So
Um,
was it when you started with the Tom Todoroff studio? That's when you started doing these particular slates?
no, I'd always done them, but I hadn't consistently done them, and it wasn't something that I purposely think about
Hmm.
previously. Like previously, I was more like, okay, how am I looking? How am I standing? Which is not the energy. Like as an actor, this is also something that Tom says. He says you act to be expressive, not impressive. So instead of like checking your hair and your face and what angle, just express yourself in a joyful, fun manner or professional or however you want to express yourself. But if you're trying to impress people, you're self-conscious and you're like, oh, I got to stand this way, or you tape it one time and you're like, oh, I didn't like how I tape that, which sometimes we still do. But the point is, I'm just directly connecting with them. I'm being kind of goofy and silly and just having a good time. Like I actually love to audition. I love being on set. I love the prep. I like doing all of this. So
Hmm.
it's just I'm gonna have fun with it. And if there was ever a casting director, and I can't ever imagine this ever happening, where it's like casting director saying like, oh, well, can you send a message to that Lars? He keeps sending these fun, silly little slates making us laugh during our day. Like it would never happen, right? Like
Yeah.
it would never happen. So I think it's a way to just have some fun and express that. And honestly, if someone saw that and did have the attitude of like, who is this guy doing that? It's probably not someone that I would even want to work with, because if they can't take a little goofy joke like that, it's like maybe they take their whole life too seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
So does this make slates and auditions more exciting for you, doing these kinds of slates?
Yeah, 100%. Because then my slates, I see them as like a little sketch comedy, like same as I might see an Instagram story as just an opportunity to be creative and a little goofy or silly, or just think of an idea. Yeah, it's way more exciting. It's just a different muscle I get to flex. It's a bit of a writer's muscle. Often I'll add something that is something that the character would say, like a little extra button. And I think as a casting director or as a director or a producer, yeah, you can hire actors who are great at executing what's on paper, but if you get that plus an actor who can then write in character, in the voice of the character, aka improvise, then you have just more of an asset right there. So and it's what I want to do as well. It's when I'm on set, full respect to the writers and directors and everything, but I feel that one of my skills and one of my tools in my tool belt is coming up with little lines, adding little things, having little creative moments, doing extra physical things, having fun with a prop. All of that it's part of who I am as a performer. So for me to not exhibit that, also little musical things, like whether it was whistling or singing a little line, it's all things that are part of me as a performer. So if an audition is half, hey, check me out, this is who I am and this is what you're getting, like hire me and this is the package. It's part of who I am, part of my package when I'm offering it to casting.
Yeah. And it's great. I always look forward to seeing what you're going to do with a slate every time we're in a session together.